You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast, and today, like we always do, we have an awesome guest for the show. We have Rachel Smets talking today with us. She is a best-selling author, a 2-time TEDx speaker, a professor and cultural trainer, and coach. She has been living and working abroad in various countries for many years, and she has learned over that time with different challenges. And today she's going to teach us how we can do the same. I just want to welcome Miss Rachel Smets to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, and I'm happy to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you had a great introduction, so I'm not going to repeat that. But my life story is basically that I'm passionate about living abroad, and I've been living in about 8 different countries so far for the past 15 years, and I still want to move. I still want to explore other countries. So that is really my passion, and it's also how I learn so much about different cultures and why I teach and train people about different cultures. And it's also the work that I do living abroad successfully. Like you mentioned, it's the book that I wrote, it's a course that I have, and it's how I coach people to, adapt to a new country and all the things that you have to think about when you live abroad to make it a success, because it's so sad to see so many people having a cultural shock or being homesick or being depressed or taking years to adjust to a new country. So I really don't like to see that, and that's why I want to help people with that.
And please tell me, what was the first experience for you? And take us back to that time.
Yes, I'd love to. Well, I was 24 years old, and I was working at the time, living in my native country, close to my family, and I had a relationship, and I had a business, and everything was going very well, financial stability and all of that. And I was in contact with other people, expats, people living abroad, and I just became fascinated by it. And I thought, I want to know what that is like. I want to know what it's like to live in another country. And so I decided to move, and it took me, I think, about a year, because if there's one thing that I tell everyone, it's prepare, and take your time to prepare well. And that's what I did, because it was my first time, of course. Now it goes faster, but I searched and I decided to finally move to Spain. So my very first country was Spain. I started learning a little bit of Spanish before I moved. I searched a job in advance. I had a job to go to. And from there, I searched everything when I was there. So that was my very first experience. And I decided to do it not just because I was intrigued, but because I always, throughout my life, what drives me most is the thought that I do not want to grow old thinking, what if I had done it? What if? I don't want to think that. So I'm like, I need to do it, and I need to experience it. And trust me, this was a hard decision. My family, my friends, everyone around me, they're like, Rachel, are you crazy? You're going to move and leave all of this? I had a house and financial stability, and everything was going well. And are you? So they thought I was doing the stupidest thing, but it's definitely been a great experience with a lot of challenges, but definitely no regrets whatsoever.
And when you say you moved to Spain, were you starting completely over, or did you have, what was your plan to survive and live?
Yeah, no. I started completely over, because I knew nothing, and I knew no one and nobody, and not even, the language well. So I definitely, what I did in advance is that I spent time searching for jobs. I found a job. So I had a job to go to, and I thought, if I have a job, then I have money, and if I have money, I'll figure all the rest out. I'll find a place to live and all of that. So, and I did spend, I think, about 3 months to learn some vocabulary. And I'm passionate about languages. I really love it. But it was my very first, foreign language that I really wanted to learn. And in the meantime, now I speak 6 different languages. But it's definitely important to learn a language when you move to a new country. Because, like I said, I was alone. I moved alone. I even got a divorce because my ex-husband didn't want to move abroad. So I was totally on my own. Totally moved everything, and started all over again, and started meeting people and learning the language better, and doing a job and searching everything, registering everything.
That's very interesting. So you left everything for something brand new. Mm-hmm. Tell us, after a few months being in Spain, how did you start to connect with people there, the culture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this is something like the very, very first time, everything took a bit longer. And every time I moved to a new country, it goes, adjustment goes faster and faster, because I kind of learned the tips and tricks of myself. And so that's why, that's how I'm helping people now to go through that process fast. It is still an adventure every single time, and you always face challenges. But to mention the key thing that is important is to create a new routine. So as long as you have hobbies or activities and things to do so that you can fill your day with a certain routine, you kind of make it your own home. And that's the goal. You come into a new country, everything is new. People are new, houses, street signs, cars, everything is new. But the fact is, there is nothing new. You are new. You are the newbie in town. So you have to find ways to adjust. And what are the things that you do back home? Do you go to for me, for example, I go to the gym. It's what I love. I love sports. I love going to the gym. It's part of my daily routine. So that's the first thing I do when I go abroad. I'm coming into a new country, and the first thing I do is I search a gym so that I have this routine to go to every day. It makes me have a plan and a goal and something in my schedule, besides, of course, having a job. Now I work a lot online, so it's different work. But still, I would search for a gym. And in the gym, I would meet people. And that's how I build my network, because you have to talk to people. You have to meet people. You have to build your network from scratch. You don't know anybody in a new country. And the locals, will not come to you. You're the newbie. So it's really important to remember, okay, I have to put in the effort. Living abroad successfully, a lot of people still think, oh, it's nice, you have all these opportunities abroad, Rachel, and you can just, go and it's a nice kind of holiday. No, it's not a holiday. It's not. It's effort. It's challenging. It's adapting. It's meeting new people. It's putting in the effort, but it's so worth it. And the faster you do all these things, the faster you feel really home and adapt to a new country and feel like, hey, this is now my, today I get up, I go to the gym, I, meet some people, make some new friends, and feel like home.
That's pretty interesting, because for some people, it's even hard for them to network with people where they live mm-hmm. naturally. Yeah. So for you, I'm still trying to wrap around my head that you left everything to go somewhere where you don't speak that language as your first language, but you end up working there, but not just working there, you're involved in the community by participating, and you're talking to the people in that community with a language that you're still sharpening your skills on. That's and not just that, you keep doing it. you keep going to different countries. Yeah. Was it like that for almost all the countries, or all the countries that you lived in?
Yeah, and I have to say, it may sound easy. It's not. I always tell people it's not that easy. It is not, but it's really worth it, and that's what you should have in mind. You learn so much by being abroad, and a lot of it is unconscious. You learn so much unconsciously because you have to face challenges. You have to find out things. How are the the supermarkets? How is the food? What kind of drinks? What carton is what is milk? Is it red? Is it blue? You just don't know what's in a carton sometimes if you don't speak that language. So everything is a challenge. Everything is figuring things out. It's deciding where you will live. It's getting registered in a local a city. It's decorating your place. It's finding the electricity, the water, the everything, the bank account. But all of that really enriches you and makes you grow as a person. And it also is the reason why I wrote my first book a few years ago, Awaken Your Confidence, because if there's one thing I learned, it's my self-confidence, my self-esteem, because you have to make all these decisions and you grow so much as a person because of everything that you learn. And I used to be a very shy person. And now I'm an international speaker, but I learned because I had to face all these challenges. And when you're alone in a new country, you have to talk to people. You have to. It's either that or sitting in your room depressed. Come on. So you just push yourself all the time because it's a choice that I make. It's a choice that I want to experience this life abroad. And trust me, I've been, for all my books and courses, I've talked to a lot of expats and a lot of interviews I've done, and there's not one that has said that they regretted to live abroad, because you learn so much. You learn all these new things, and you learn to adapt, and you learn to be more flexible. But you need an open mind, okay? There's one thing, if you're the kind of person, that's the first chapter in my book, if you're the kind of person who says, well, I love my hometown, and I'm attached to my friends, and I want to play soccer every Saturday, and I want to go to the movies every Saturday night, and every Sunday morning I go to my aunt and uncle for coffee. If you're tight and so tight to all of these little habits and these things, and you can't let go of that, then you should not move abroad. Makes sense, right?
That makes total sense, because it's very interesting, because I'm learning a lot. Number one, I'm sure everyone who's listening to this is learning a lot, because a lot of what you're saying too, it applies to the entrepreneur, the small business owner, trying new things, getting involved. And before we end this first half of the show, before we go commercial break, I just want to say, man, this is a very great opportunity for people to go check out your book. And you have another book that you wrote, but when you come back, I want to dabble a little bit more into the book that you wrote, Awaken Your Confidence, and also want to talk about living abroad successfully, the what, where, when, and how, that book that you wrote. So just want to say, you guys, you're listening to I Am Refocused Podcast. Don't touch that iPhone. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, many platforms, and we are talking to Rachel Smets. We'll be right back in just a few.
Welcome to Rockefeller's Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused Podcast on iHeartRadio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning at business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey, this is I Am Refocused Podcast. Welcome back. From the commercial break, we are talking to Rachel Smets. She is an awesome speaker, book author. She knows how to travel. I don't know if you're ready, but after listening to the show, you should be inspired, because she literally left everything to do her thing. And it's been very successful. So when we first left, we were talking about her book, Awaken Your Confidence. So let's jump right into that one more time. what's some of the things that people need to know when building their confidence? Because it's one thing to get up super excited, like you just had a lot of coffee, versus burning out. So what's some of the things that you had to do to keep yourself motivated, building your confidence in these new places?
Well, you're asking me a simple question, but the answer is actually, I mean, the reason I wrote a book about it is because there's so much to answer. So I'm just trying to find out how can I make it easy and to answer you and give you some value, and especially some value to the listeners. And I'm going to talk about maybe the top 3. Okay, my second half of the book is really literally full of things that you can do, tips and hacks to grow your confidence. But let's start with my top 3. You have to take action. Okay, there's nothing that's going to happen. You're not going to grow your confidence. You're not going to achieve your goals or your dreams when you just sit down, look at others, and think, oh, I wish I had that. There's no way. It's actually also in my TEDx talk, I said, you can sit there and watch others and think, oh, they're so lucky and they're so great and they're so successful and here I am and I'm nothing. Well, if you think that, then nothing's going to happen. If you sit back, nothing's going to happen. So if there's one thing, you have to take action. You have to take steps. I'm always saying you don't have to jump off a cliff. Like people sometimes say, oh, follow your heart, follow your dreams, just do it, leave everything, just do it. Yes, I left everything. Yes, but I didn't just jump off a cliff. I took my first time a year to prepare, to do the research. So I always say it's all small steps. You're not going to run a marathon if you can't run. You start with a mile and then 5 miles and then 10 miles. You have to take steps. You have to do your research. You have to prepare. But you have to take the step. You have to take action. The second thing is you have to face your fears. Because, yes, you have to step out of your comfort zone. And you have to face some fears. You have to, if you're afraid, like you said, it's hard to make friends and it's hard to talk to people. And you may think, oh, they probably won't talk to me, or what do I need to say? Or maybe they'll think I'm stupid. Well, that's you. That's your thoughts. But if you're not doing it, nothing's going to happen. If you don't put in the effort, how many times do you think I'd start a conversation, or at least try to start a conversation to meet new people or to make new friends, and people are not responsive, or people just nod and walk away? How many times do you think that happens? But of all the times that I've tried it, there are some people that are now friends with me from all over the world for the rest of my life. So you have to face those fears. You have to step out of your comfort zone, or else nothing is going to happen. And then the last thing, well, I said the top 3, right? I have 10 in my mind, but I'm going to keep it to 3. So the third one I want to mention is, and I wrote a whole blog about this, by the way, is build your tribe. And let me explain that really quickly. Build your tribe. And that takes time. But the thing is that when I have people around me that drain my energy, that ask me a ton of questions like, Rachel, are you sure about this? And how are you going to earn some money? And what about this? And where are you going to live? And are you sure? And what if this happens? And what about your health? And all of these questions, it creates so much self-doubt that you finally end up not doing anything. But if you try to surround yourself and find people that inspire you, that motivate you, that believe in you, the ones that I know I can count on, the ones that tell me, oh, Rachel, what a good thing, and maybe try this, and you're going to make it, and it's good, and it's a good thing, and see things positively. Those are the people that keep me going. So through the years, I learned to find out who are the ones that are giving me this guilt feeling like, oh, you're not calling me every week, so now we're not friends anymore. Okay, fine, But there's these people that support me no matter what, that even if for a month or 2 months or 6 months I haven't talked to them, they're still there for me. And it's that choice, the choice of who do you want to hang with? Do you want to hang with those people that drain your energy, that ask you a ton of questions, that make you doubt yourself? Or do you want to find people that inspire you and motivate you? It's a choice that you can make. Believe me, it's not easy and it takes time, but it's a choice that you can make. Do you rather, be depressed and be negative because of all the questions or people around you? Or do you want to be inspired? So seek those people and build your tribe. And if you want to move abroad, if you want to be successful, if you want a certain job or career, go out and find those people that do what you want to do and that are doing what you want to be doing. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And I really like the whole idea of building your tribe because, like I said, this is not just something great for people who want to live abroad, but this really is really good skills for just fundamental living where you are right now. Like whether you're at the 9 to 5 trying to go up the ladder or if you're starting your own business, this is very key. If you build your own tribe now, like you said, over time, it's almost like I'm a very visual person. So as you were talking, I picture in my head like all these different red boxes scattered all around the world. And as you were talking, I was imagining someone missing out on those opportunities to find those red boxes. Because as you meet somebody, you meet something unique and new from that person, and they're like an open door to something bigger than yourself. How has that, has that kind of been in your case, in your situation, as you meet new people in these new places, they have brought something into your life that you never have experienced otherwise?
Meeting people, I like to talk to people from all walks of life, from the cleaning lady somewhere to a CEO or a director of a company or whatnot. It just, and I actually love when I'm in a new country to just sit on a bench and just observe other people. And sometimes just sitting on a bench and then just having somebody next to me and starting a conversation on the bench in the middle of, a new country. Also somebody that's a way to connect to people as well. And just that experience, I can't really pinpoint something unique, but I think it's unique in itself to be able to create friendships from just sitting somewhere and just starting a conversation. I think that in itself is so unique, because when I think about the relationships that I've built and the connections that I have now all around the world that are really truthful, genuinely, I think that is just something that warms me up when I'm saying it.
And that's exactly what I mean by I was using the metaphor of the red boxes, because that represents our opportunities in life. And if we don't go and explore, well, how many boxes are we not opening of opportunity? Yeah. And time is all we have. And if you don't spin it, it's going to spin you. I got that from a good friend of mine. And it's true, because it's always going to be clicking. Whether you're doing something or not, it's always going to be clicking. So it's up to you to do something today. So for our listeners, if you're listening to this podcast, you listen to Rachel Smets, you want to start today, preparing today. Don't put this off for the next 5 years and say, I'm too nervous, I'm too shy, I'm too whatever. Those are only, like she said earlier in the show, those are just thoughts in your head. No one's telling you this. You're actually telling this to yourself. So when it comes to someone who's nervous, maybe they should pick up this next book that you have, Living Abroad Successfully. What, where, when, how? Tell us a little bit about that book.
Yes, I'd love to. And I just wrote something down I want to say at the end as well, that you reminded me of. But my book, Living Abroad Successfully, it's a complete guide, okay? It has a lot of chapters, and it's taking you from the moment you want to make that decision, is living abroad successfully something for you, yes or no, to to chapter of finances, because you need money. How are you going to deal with that? To jobs, to employment, to housing, accommodation, languages, cultural shock, or reverse cultural shock. That means when you are abroad and you want to return to your home country, it's called the reverse cultural shock. And how do you adapt to countries? So it's a very complete, guys, that gives you a complete picture of what you can expect when you want to move abroad. And it also has a second part in the book, a load of checklists, because it will give you a great idea of, okay, what do I need to prepare? What do I need to research? And with that checklist, you can just tick off all the boxes. What do you really need to do? And you can create your own plan, because that is something that in the beginning, the first time I moved abroad, it took me forever. And that's how I'm able to help people like, okay, this is the plan. Check off the boxes, and it just takes away a lot of stress, because no matter if you have plans or no plans or checklists or not, it's so new to move abroad. There's so much coming on to you that is new. It's already an adventure. So if you have these checklists, it will take away a lot of overwhelm, a lot of stress. And it has tips about learning a new language easily, because it should be fun. Language learning is fun. I love it. I always encourage people to learn new languages. It has tips about avoiding homesickness. It has tips about adapting, tips about settling in. So it's just a very, very practical, hands-on, complete guide that will help you all the way through.
And that is very awesome. All this started, once again, I like narrowing it down from the beginning of the moment that you made that choice. You made a decision that one time, but you prepared for a season, and then the next season you were in that situation, and then you still adapt. So every single step you took, there was a moment that you had to prepare, execute, reflect.
Yep.
And you keep repeating that process, and now you're all around the world. TED Talk, best-selling author. How does that kind of just connect to you, and how does that make you feel to see that you can step back right now and say, man, it's not even over? I'm almost could say you're just beginning, but what has been like your reflection on being able to see so far on your journey living this kind of lifestyle? It's a journey. It's a journey, and it just tastes like more. It makes me hungry to find out new countries where I haven't been yet, and to find out new cultures, and to literally, when I say living abroad, I want to stay there. I'm not, how funny this sounds, but people sometimes think, you love to travel. And in a way, yes, but I like to call myself, I like to be abroad, but I'm not a traveler. Because for me, the word traveler is like, I see these backpackers and just hop from one country to another. That's not me. I like some stability. As crazy as it sounds, I do like some stability. So I like to stay in a certain country for a while. And that's the kind of people I like to help, those that want to live abroad, experience it, but they're not travelers. We're not really travelers. We don't want to hop from one thing to another. No, we want some stability, but it's still abroad. It's still a new country. And for me, it's a journey that is definitely not ending yet, because I have so many, I teach cultural competence and how to deal with other cultures. So I want to live it. I want to, if I talk about Chinese cultures, I want to know exactly how it's like, so I can use examples of having the experience of living there. So there's definitely a lot of countries I'm still having on my on my list. And that's great to have a list. And it's amazing how time flies by when you're having fun. I say that a lot on the show, because it's like not enough minutes for us to even digest what you have all to say and offer to our audience.
Do another show.
Yeah, we got to do another show. But before we let you go, though, I want to ask you this. Do you have a tip of a day, a quote that people can hold on to before, even after they get you? But what's a quote that you would like to give for people to hold on to?
I do. And before I say something that's just on the top of my mind, you remind me of something with those boxes and everything. And I think for the people listening, what helps me also is thinking, imagine you're 90 years old, right? And you're at the end of your life and you look back at your life. Then what are you looking back upon? I want people to take that moment and think, do you want to have, the life that you're living now? Or do you want to be able to look back and say, wow, I did that and that and that, and I actually did it.
That's pretty,
and
wow.
I think that's something, I like to keep that image in mind. And to end with a quote, I would say, life changes, and so can you. You don't have to stick to the same thing. Life changes all the time, and so can you.
Man, that's a mic drop moment right there. Like, I have nothing to add to that, and I'm not even going to touch it. I'm just going to leave you guys and ladies with that right there. And before we let you go, too, I understand you have a little gift for anyone who listens to this podcast or finds this post on our website. What is that?
Yes, I actually created two gifts, and you can find it all on your website when you post it. One is for those people who are now starting to think and dream like, living abroad, is that something for me? And it's an email course. And in that email course, you will get a series of emails, and you will get a series of checklists that I mentioned already, and things that you can plan and prioritize and research. So it will give you a very, very good idea of living abroad. And the other one is for those people who are maybe already abroad or just moved and that think, I'm having a hard time here. I'm struggling to adjust. I'm feeling homesick and I'm feeling depressed. And hey, Rachel said I shouldn't feel that way. I should feel good, right? For those people, there is a link, and it's a 4-part free. Everything is free. A free video course on how to settle in. How can you adapt? How can you meet people? How can you grow your network? And how can you really say, hey, this is my new home?
That is really great, and I appreciate you for doing that for our audience. But before we wrap the show completely, I want y'all to definitely go get her books, the ones that she talked about today.
They're all on Amazon.
Yes, Awaken Your Confidence and Living Abroad Successfully, What, Where, When, How. And also, you can go to her website, rachelsmets.com. That's RachelSmets.com. Any last things you want to say to our audience before we let you go today?
I had a great time, and I hope your audience too. And if they have any questions, just find me on my website, rachelsmets.com, or anywhere. Just Google my name, and I'm happy to help.
And definitely watch her TED Talk. If you guys are into the TED Talk, I know I was, and I still am today. Just make sure you go check out her on YouTube as well. You can find it, like she said, Google her name, or just on YouTube, Google her name. Well, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to bring you back on the show because we just kind of warmed up the stove today. Like, we're not even boiling the water yet. So I'd like to invite you on the show sometime whenever you have a free schedule. Just talk about success as well, because what you said today, it really applies everywhere in life, just living, because a lot of times we get stuck, and that's another topic for another show. But I want to thank you for your time, taking out your time out of your busy schedule, and I appreciate you for your wisdom today. And like we always say, y'all, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.